My name is Outsider2522 and welcome to another Idleon video. So today we're going to be doing a bit of a story time. It's a bit of a strange one, but there is some good information in there. We're going to look into Killroy, how the puzzle was unveiled and where it might go forward. Let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button. I've looked into my stats recently and they are shameful. Now only 12.9% of my viewers are subscribed. Which means one of two things. Either I'm a really bad content creator, which I can take on the chin, or you're just not clicking that button, which I think might be the real problem here. Click that button. Come be subscribed. Help the channel to grow. It means a lot to me. Also get involved with the Discord. We're a growing community. And if you are looking for a guild, I highly recommend Frozen Flames. I will leave a link to their Discord in the comments, in the description as well. We'd love to have you on board. Okay, so the story begins that I was having a chat with some members in my guild's Discord, part of the Frozen Flames guild. Definitely check them out if you're looking for a guild. They're a fantastic bunch. They've got places if you need them, and they've got a lot of knowledge. You'll find out why in a minute. So I was having a discussion with one of their members, Kat, in regards to Killroy, and I was under the impression that respawn mechanics, such as the buboes revive, didn't affect enemies in Killroy. Now, I may be misremembering, but I was almost certain I'd spoken to Hot Air about this in the past, and he'd confirmed that they didn't. Now, Kat was under the impression that they did work, but only on a specific subset of enemies. And I was confused because I didn't know there were different subsets of enemies in Killroy. As far as I was understanding, you just had Killroy enemies and that was it. So Kat kind of explained to me that actually there's one type of enemy that is the standard enemies on the map, and respawn mechanics still work for them. Now, since seeing conversation with Hot Hair, he also had the same information, so I'm going to assume I misremembered what was said to him. Wasn't intentionally lying in the guild, but just, these things are passed in comments, and we either forget or we misread, however it is. So that was on my behalf, okay? So obviously I didn't understand what I'd been told. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe we need to test this because, my understanding is different from yours. I want to know which one's the right one. How do we go about it? And then the guild leader, Banana Monkey Taco, chimes in. And he's like, no, Outsider, you need to listen because we found evidence that it works, as Kat is saying. Let me try and dig through it. So I'm like, cool, this is really, really interesting. Like, I can learn more about the game and have an understanding. Now, I knew the respawns started to slow down after a certain amount of time. Good friend of mine, you've heard mentioned before, Windclaw, came across this a couple of months ago and was like, hey, look, respawns slow down massively, but we never really understood why. And what Monkey was able to share with me was that he had a couple of members in his guild. So, Kalionis, who was the cat I was talking to, and Skuzuka, I'm going to say. If I mispronounce that, I apologise. Maybe Shuka. And both of those would actually go and read through the code to try and understand what was happening in these mechanics. Basically because they wanted a better understanding of Killroy and what was going on. So, what ended up happening was they realised there were 3 subsets of enemies going on in Killroy. The first one is the monsters that already exist on the map. These are able to be respawned with respawn mechanics. So, things like Raise the Dead, those kind of things will all work on it. They're probably the slowest type of enemy, and on most maps you won't be able to sustain your respawn, as you may know. Certain maps you'll be able to, like your samurais, things like that, but most maps you will not. The second enemy behaved in a very, very different way. Now, I'm not going to read the formula out. It's a bit of a weird one, but I will show it on screen. And what it basically means is that seemingly the first 300 spawns for Type B behave in a particular way. Now, the respawn upgrade that you can buy in the Killroy shop affect these spawn rates. So in those 300 spawns, a 1% increase on the respawn upgrade means that there's a 1% chance to spawn an extra one, so a 301st spawn. So at 100% chance you're going to get 100% more enemies. You would get an extra, you'd get up to 600 spawns. Okay, so the respawn skill is not useless as some people have thought, but it's actually quite good. And there's a third type of spawn. Now the way this works is that every time you kill a monster, there is a 60% chance that it will spawn another monster, similar to the Choco Chip mechanic. And what this means is that although you may only get 300 spawns in the first one, because there's a 60% chance and it cascades, you could end up with thousands of kills. Those are your 3 types. I was completely unaware that this was a thing, however, this is a thing. Type 2 and Type 3 are not affected by respawn mechanics from talents, so Raise Your Dead does not have an impact on them, only on Type 1 it seems. So, they then dug deeper to see how things slowed down. This is in milliseconds. So the first spawn will happen in 200 milliseconds. That's 2/10 of a second. Alright, that's pretty quick. The second one in 419 milliseconds. So 4/10 of a second, double the time, but still pretty quick. By the time you reach the 300th spawn, you're now looking at 249,000 milliseconds, which is 249 seconds. That's the equivalent of roughly 4¼ minutes. So after 4 minutes and 15 seconds, you will not see any more Type 2 spawns occurring. This means that the timer bonus in Killroy kind of has diminishing returns, because after that initial 300, you're probably only going to get Type 1 and then some Type 3 based around luck. Now here's where the story takes an even weirder twist. So I'm talking in the guild about this, trying to get a better understanding, thinking nothing of it. About a week later, I'm in my previous guild's Discord, Idleon, and a member's talking about Killroy and how respawn mechanics work. So I'm like, I'm just going to share a screenshot of what I've been told by Monkey, what they found out, what Frozen Flames have found out, just to try and share the information, spread it amongst the community, help others. That's kind of what this channel is built upon. Again, I thought nothing of it. Today, I get a message from Maxian, the guy in Aetherian who I was talking to, saying, is there any chance you can put Monkey in contact with Scully? Now, for those of you who don't know, Scully is the guy who makes the auto reviewer. It's a fantastic third-party program. A lot of people use it. For new players, I think it is probably one of the best tools out there. I could do a whole video in regards to it, but basically, you take your JSON string from Idleon Toolbox or Idleon Efficiency, you paste it in there, he handles the rest and tells you where you should be aiming for. Now, Scully has got hold of this information and is now wanting to find out how Killroy works to make his program even better and to accommodate and help people understand where they should be spending their points. And I think the thing is, that just shows how great this community is, because it all started off with a very, very random question and has now blown into a potential, potential side project for the Scully Auto Reviewer, in which he's going to incorporate that into his work, and it's going to hopefully help the better community to understand how it works. Okay, so I think that's all the information and story time I've got for you today. Obviously, if you have found this video useful in any way, shape or form, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. Drop me a comment if you want to know more about Scully's Auto Reviewer, how it works, how to get access to it, that kind of thing. I'll happily go through it in another video. Love to get some feedback on it. Also, do you use Killroy? It's a mechanic that I think a lot of people are missing out on. It's fantastic for pushing your account forward. So highly recommend that you try and maximize it where possible. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. You've been amazing. Take care.